when do you believe that Britain and France stopped fighting? Almost became friends? Is that too much of a stretch? But this video today is, why did Britain and France stop fighting and become allies? I'm guessing it's some huge historical event that made them allies. I mean, the first time that I really know they were allies and fought side by side was World War I. But I guess there may be something before that. But man, these two rivals, definitely in the history books. They've been fighting since the dawn of time. I know that's a huge exaggeration, which makes this video so intriguing to me. When did this fighting stop? What caused it? What historical event caused it? And when did they become allies? Let's jump into it. Let's see and see if your guess is correct, or you just know it. You probably know it, but hopefully you learned something here. This is by History Matters. Quick video here and straight to the point. Be ready for information overload.
France and England, later Britain, haven't exactly had the greatest bond throughout history. Both have claimed the other's throne, they fought many wars against the other, and their relationship often finds ways of finding new lows. Yet, the last war between the two was during the reign of Napoleon. And for the 200 years after this, not only have the two kept the peace, but they've even become allies. Which raises the question, why? Why did Britain and France stop fighting? So, after Napoleon had been thoroughly dealt with, Britain was sure to invite France to the Congress of Vienna, in which the new Europe would be built. And the reason for this was simple: fear of Russia. Immediately after the fall of Napoleon and the restoration of the Bourbon, Britain and France came to an agreement to consult one another if there were any European crises, particularly crises concerning Russia. After the Congress, Europe was mostly at peace until the Crimean War. This saw Britain and France team up to limit Russia's power and expansion. And they further worked together during the Opium Wars, which meant Britain and France had just discovered something that they both had in common: putting other nations down, which led to the birth of a mutually beneficial relationship. Britain would let France take the lead on European affairs, and in return, Britain wouldn't have to deal with European affairs and would be free to concentrate on its global empire.
Pretty smart. They found a common bond. Another, in a way, they're kind of looking behind their back, making sure it's all fine, like this picture right here. But they found a way to kind of move forward and benefit their own countries, I suppose.
Didn't mean that the two were now friends or allies. When Napoleon III warned Britain of a rising Prussia, the British saw it as nothing more than a French attempt to conquer Belgium and Luxembourg, which was confirmed when Napoleon tried to gain both in return for neutrality in the Austro-Prussian War. Bismarck said maybe, and when it was time for Napoleon to buy Luxembourg, he changed his mind and threatened war. Britain mediated and decided that Luxembourg wouldn't be sold, which damaged relations. This wouldn't improve too much until after Napoleon III was ousted during the Franco-Prussian War, which ended in the unification of Germany. This concerned Britain and embarrassed France, but with Napoleon III no longer in charge, relations between the two soured again. This was mostly due to overlapping colonial ambitions in Africa. France had ambitions across much of the continent's north, and it wanted to control the lands from west to east and link their colonies. Britain wanted the same, but from north to south, and tensions flared. Britain made preparations for war and began to mobilise, and the French were forced to back down. This was mostly because France was internationally isolated at this time, and it wanted to keep Britain friendly in case of war against Germany. And so, Britain and France remained distant until Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany decided that it would be a great idea to adopt an aggressive foreign policy. In particular, he pushed for a massive naval build-up to challenge Britain's Royal Navy, which forced Britain to seek closer relations to France. As such, it joined the Entente, which wasn't a formal alliance but essentially a declaration of good intentions. As you'll know, World War I kicked off and Britain at first wasn't too keen on joining. It was only when Belgium was invaded and that British leaders saw that an ascendant Germany could challenge its global empire that they got involved. And after this, the two's interests aligned. Neither wanted a resurgent Germany after the war, both were suspicious of communism, and they desperately wanted to keep their empires. Which is why, barring a few exceptions, Britain and France were thereafter on each other's sides, since both saw that allying together would help them to maintain their influence. And so, Britain and France became friends for one simple reason: fear. Fear of losing their status as global powers from Russia, Germany, the Soviet Union, and to an extent, the United States. I hope you enjoyed this episode.
Once again, information overload, but I guess, generally right. World War I is when they actually became allies. Before that, kind of on and off, friendly intentions. It's kind of work side by side, or not side by side, but let's just not fight, so we could use that in other places of the world. I'll take on Europe, I'll keep my empire, we'll do our own thing. A lot of stuff was going on in here. Like I'm a king again. Hilarious. Once again, these types of videos from History Matters, you could watch a couple times and pick up something new every time that they add in. Really watch the animation, and it's hilarious. As always, please add anything else onto this, the history of it, I generally know the basics of conflicts and why things happened. And when it comes to very specific parts of history, a little fuzzy there. Sometimes I just don't know. But I could generally connect all the larger events, so anything is appreciated. So a quick video, but thank you for watching. Thank you for joining for this history reaction, and we'll do more of these very soon. Have a good, historically filled rest of your day.